Hi there guys, and welcome back to SitRep Gaming. In today's video we're going to be discussing Unlimited Sprint, and most importantly whether or not Unlimited Sprint has a significant impact on the pace with which Call of Duty is played. Now the gameplay that you're seeing is from Call of Duty Ghosts. It's a TDM on the map Freight. Not the best team I'm playing with, but I managed to pull out a long streak near the end, get a battle hind, and we pull out a win for the team. But anyway, let's get straight into the topic of conversation. So, Unlimited Sprint. As many of you will have seen, Michael Condrey, who is the studio lead at Sledgehammer Games, the development team in charge of the production of Call of Duty World War II this year, recently tweeted out that Call of Duty World War II will not have an Unlimited Sprint feature built into the game. Now, understandably so, many people are having the, shall we say, slightly knee-jerk reaction that this will mean that Call of Duty World War II is going to play really, really slow. Right off the bat, I want to say that's simply not the case. It's not as simple as saying we don't have unlimited sprint, therefore the game's going to play really, really slow. It doesn't quite work like that. Now, what some people are perhaps tending to forget here is that we've only had unlimited sprint for the last 3 Call of Duties: Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3 and Infinite Warfare. And it's certainly no coincidence that Unlimited Sprint was introduced into these 3 games when all 3 of the games are the advanced movement games that we've had. Now, before we had advanced movement, we had games such as Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 2, and these games did not have Unlimited Sprint built in, for those of you who remember, who were old enough to have played those games. And they played just fine. They were fast-paced. In some respects, they're regarded as some of the fastest playing Call of Duties we've had. So it's perhaps a little bit of confusion here that the reason the last 3 Call of Duties have played particularly fast is for no other reason than we've had the advanced movement, and that's created this illusion that Unlimited Sprint is really essential to the way that the game plays, when I personally don't think it is. But of course the question is, if Unlimited Sprint doesn't impact too heavily on the way that the game plays in terms of pace, then what does? Because we're watching a gameplay today from Call of Duty Ghosts, and Call of Duty Ghosts is a game which isn't looked upon too favourably by the Call of Duty community, and one of the things that it was renowned for was it played very, very slowly. Now, as you can see from the gameplay, I'm running Marathon, which is the perk which gives you unlimited sprint. I'm moving around, I'm trying to flank, I'm trying to push, I'm trying to create map flow, and it's just not working. The game feels slow. It's not the same pace that we're used to seeing in other Call of Duties. And this is indicative of one key reason which makes Call of Duty play slowly. And it's a reason which trumps unlimited sprint. It's a reason which trumps any other minute details in terms of game mechanics or game design features which might impact on game speed. And that is map design. When it comes to determining how fast a Call of Duty game is going to play, map design is one of the key things. In fact, I'd go to say it's the most important thing that you can consider when evaluating the pace of the game. And it's not quite as simple either as just saying, well, if we have small maps, the games play really, really fast, and if we have big maps, they play really slow. That's true to a certain degree. Obviously, the inherent size of the map is going to speed up the pace of the game. But there's another feature which Call of Duty Ghosts was, I hate to say it, culpable for in a lot of its map designs, which causes slow gameplay. And that's what I like to call the AB map design. Now, for those of you who are wondering what the AB map design is, imagine you're looking down on the cross-section of a Call of Duty map and it's a square. What you do is you divide the map perfectly in half, so now you've got 2 rectangles. Now, the map Freight, which I'm playing on at the moment, is a great example of this. Because in either one of those rectangles, you've got elements of map design which actually play quite fast. You've got buildings, you've got flanking routes, the kind of map designs which encourage SMG play. Now, that's all well, but the problem is when you incorporate that AB map design, and intersecting the A and B is what we would call a dead space. That is a long strip of space intersecting the entire map which has little to no cover. Now, when this map element is introduced into map design, it's one of the key reasons for why maps slow down, because it breeds a sense of fear amongst players. players become afraid to cover the dead space. So what happens is they set up camp in either A or B, which is primarily dictating where the spawns are as well, so that plays into it. So of course, when players stop moving because they're afraid, the flow of the map inherently slows down. And when the flow of the map slows down, we get this really slow-paced feel in Call of Duty. And that's what we don't like, and that's one of the reasons why people weren't particularly fond of Call of Duty Ghosts. For all the really good features it had, the map design just featured most of the maps. When I think back, you've got maps like Freight, you've got maps like Stormfront, Octane, all prime examples of large swathes of dead space separating an AB design. And they play so slowly. I mean, Stormfront is widely regarded as one of the slowest playing maps in Call of Duty history. And when you look at a cross-section of the map, it's not difficult to see why. It's not necessarily because of the size of the map. It's simply because the dead space encourages a play style where people are just afraid to move in case of getting shot, so everyone sets up camp and everyone slows down. Now, in my opinion, this is the biggest threat to Call of Duty World War II, especially considering that we're going back to a time when a lot of games depicting World War I or World War II often trump for the more realistic style maps, and there's no doubting that if you want to be realistic, well, dead spaces were kind of key. It's the basis upon which a lot of trench warfare is built, for instance, where you've got each opposing force set up in one of their trenches, and then separating the two trenches is a big space. They used to call it no man's land. So my fear for Call of Duty World War II is that we're going to begin to see these elements of map design introduced, and that's what will slow the game down. That's going to make the biggest impact on whether we have a fast-paced game or a slow-paced game. It's not about unlimited sprint. So for any of you out there who are perhaps concerned about not having unlimited sprint in this year's Call of Duty, and the impact that that's going to have on map design, my message is quite simple. Don't panic. Don't panic just yet, because it's not a big deal. We've had plenty of Call of Duties before without unlimited sprint, and they've all played just fine. We need to wait to see the map design. That's what's going to dictate the pace of the game. Now, obviously, we've got E3 just around the corner, and we're hoping that we're going to be having some, a good amount of multiplayer footage emerging, and obviously that's going to give us some insight into the map design. So for the time being, let's try and cut out a little bit of the hysteria about the game's going to be slow. Yes, we're transitioning away from advanced movement, and that is going to have an impact. But the absence of unlimited sprint is really a small detail in a big pile of mechanics which we need to unpack the more that we learn about the game. So anyway, that's going to be it for the video today. If you've enjoyed it, please leave a like rating, it's greatly appreciated. And if you want to see some more content from SitRep Gaming, then make sure you subscribe to the channel. All that's left to say is thanks for tuning into SitRep Gaming, and we'll see you in the next video.
They put your IMS out of commission. Gosh, that SATCOM. SATCOM uplink enabled. Yeah, boy. IMS ready. That's dope shit right there. Tick-tock, nephew. Time's almost up. Yeah, way to keep it real.